some transfer portal news. It's 4 Downs. It's brought to you by Dynasty Spas, and I'll tell you more about them. But I'll go ahead and tell you right now that if you need a spa, you need to be in Dynasty Spas, which has their showroom in Athens, and they're fantastic. 4 Downs talking transfer news now off the Hook Sports.
4 Downs brought to you by Dynasty Spas, the most comfortable spas made in the United States of America, right here in East Tennessee. Drop in for the all-new showroom in Athens. Dynasty Spas, perfect for all 4 seasons. 4 Downs, presented by Off the Hook Sports.
Yeah, we got lots of news, and I know a lot of people over the weekend are like, you're picking up a tight end. Why not an offensive line, an offensive lineman? I want to talk offensive line tomorrow if you can put that in your mental notebook, because I'm not as concerned as a lot of you fans are on social media about Tennessee's offensive line, and I'm going to tell you why, but that'll be tomorrow. So some transfer news as I want to get right to it. We'll jump in the hot tub with the one, the only Cooper Mays. Coop, what did people need to do to get the latest transfer news?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
We'll do that. All right, Coop, what down is it?
Coop here. First down.
Thank you, Coop. Kansas offensive lineman Armari Reed Adams visited Tennessee, but then committed to Texas A&M. How big of a loss is this for the Vols?
I think it's a pretty big one. I think this is the guy they really wanted. This is the type of player you could play and plug. He visits, then he commits to a program that's definitely not on the rise like Tennessee. I think he would have been a much better situation than Tennessee. You could say it's NIL, and that's certainly possible. Dave, I'm reading from Vol Twitter. Now, this is Vol Twitter, and they overreact to everything. So, I'm grain of salt, okay?
Like you say that, like everybody knows. Like the sun's coming up tomorrow, and Vol Twitter overreacts to everything.
Yes. One of the hot takes on Vol Twitter is that while Glenn Ellerbe is a great offensive line coach, and I do think he's one of the most underrated assistants on the staff as an offensive line coach, he's not very personable, and his personality turns off recruits. What do you know about that?
I don't, I don't know that he's personable. I don't know that you have to be personable to the media. I guess I would tell you, I don't know. I mean, Dan Brooks, Tennessee's defensive tackle coach, was always very not personable to me, but I bet he was personable to prospects. So I think there's 2 different kinds of personable, and I think it's a rare guy like Philip Fulmer, for instance, that has that personable with boosters, media, and prospects. I mean, not every dude has that, right?
No, you're right. That's true. I mean, and Fulmer was, I mean, he was somewhat personable. Come on, let's be honest, though. Fulmer, he was a great recruiter, but I think that was just his work ethic, because he's got a bit of a boring personality, too. I mean, can you imagine him in your room, Dave? Were you going to have a great opportunity to come to Tennessee? We're going to work like heck to get better every day.
This is the opposite. I swear I've heard the opposite. He goes in there like fired up. And so, like, I don't think we truly know. I think you almost put on a facade, like you turn into Batman before you walk in the front door. I swear to you, I think you're a completely different person. Like you go in there and you're Bruce Wayne and you're hitting on chicks, and then you go in there, I'd like for you to come to my school. What do you think? Yeah, I think it completely changes. I really do. More offensive line news coming up. 4 Downs brought to you by our friends at Dynasty Spas. Imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America. That's important to us, in your backyard, and they are in Athens. Check out their showroom. They have complete support. They have the spa covers, chemicals to keep your spa and pool bubbling at its best, and they are online, dynastyspas.com. You can order it there, the chemicals, or you can go down and check their fantastic discounts that they have running all the time for first responders, military, and some blemish models that you can save a ton of money on. So what down is it, Coop? Brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas.
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Temple cornerback Jalen McMurray. Boy, nothing sizzles like bacon in a refrigerator like a Temple cornerback. Or should I be excited about Jalen McMurray?
I don't know why everybody's so excited about him. I'm just going to be honest. I don't. everything I've read about him, I don't see the value in him. I mean, yes, he was named preseason All AAC, excuse me, going into 2023, but
Or as
I
Gilbert
mean,
Gottfried said, the ack. Remember, he was the
yeah.
athletic duck.
So this is all because he was a freshman All-American in 2022 and had a great freshman All-American season. But one of the things for me, for these guys at smaller schools, Dave, is I got to see how you do your second year at a school, because can you get better your second year, or are you figured out? And there are real questions about this kid, not character wise. He seems like he could be a nice guy, but I just think he was a little overrated his freshman year, and I think playing in the level of competition he played at the American overhyped him. He didn't really make the same splash as sophomore year, and that's a big red flag if you can't take a step up your sophomore year at a smaller school like that.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if you're content. What down, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to go to who I think's really good, or if I want to go another direction. Okay, I'm going to start with UNC offensive lineman Diego Pounds, who weighs about 300 of them, I would guess. What do you think of Diego Pounds?
I think this is one of Tennessee's most underrated potential pickups, funny enough. I think he's a North Carolina transfer on the offensive line. I believe he has a teammate who is at he had a high school teammate who I believe is at Tennessee right now. I don't remember the name. I'm trying to pull it up, but Diego Pounds is somebody that has connections to Tennessee. He's a very reliable and good offensive lineman. Now, some uneducated people out there would say, he's making a lateral move. He's going to Tennessee from North Carolina. No, I don't care what their records are the last few years. I don't care that Mac Brown's at North Carolina. Tennessee's a better school. That is a step up from North Carolina, guys. And I say that as somebody who thinks Tennessee fans overvalue how great their school is. Tennessee's still a step up from North Carolina. So this isn't a desperate to play transfer, if that makes sense. He's a left tackle. Sorry?
No, go ahead. My problem with Pounds is that it took him a couple of years to break into North Carolina's starting lineup. He started 8 games last year. So that's my concern with Pounds. And I know this is no shock, but Ole Miss heavily in on them. By the way, Lane Kiffin bragging about the amount of money that they're able to spend in NIL recently. So he feels pretty good about it. He's got those guys stoked after a couple of strong seasons in the past 3 years. So I think he ends up probably at Ole Miss the way the Rebels have been running. But you say it's not that significant of a loss?
No, I actually say Pounds would be a big pickup if they could get him.
Oh, it is a big pickup.
But you look at Lane Kiffin at Tennessee and look at Lane Kiffin how he's added Pounds in multiple ways. But
wow, did you just take a fat shot at Lane? I didn't think at SEC Media Days is the first time I had a lower BMI than Lane.
Okay, Lane Kiffin, if you go back and look, it happened. It happened right after he lost the USC job. Like, he just aged significantly right before he took the Alabama job.
Oh, it was hardcore. Guys in their early 30s are just throwing out shots. Maybe did you see he's now become open about his girlfriend. So whether he's got extra pounds like Diego or not, he's still got skills that pay the bills. I don't know. He's still got skills. This young lady's doing okay.
It's not really hard for major SEC football coaches to pick up young women, okay? Like, we're acting like there's some level of game here. I bet, I'm trying to think of like the most lame personality possible in the SEC who wasn't even a good coach, and they could pick up young women, probably.
Well, I can answer that. He's not in the SEC anymore, but it's Mr. Belima.
Yes, that's right. Forgot about that. Yes, if Brett Belima can do it, and he did, any SEC coach can do it.
Yeah. And he had to make up some weird excuse about how she worked in the athletic department, but he actually met her in Vegas randomly at a blackjack table. Did anybody believe that? I didn't. Brett did have game. Thank you, Smoky Mountain Red. Hit the like and subscribe button. What down are we on, Coop? Keep me straight.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
I'm saving Hurd, by the way. I know what y'all are thinking about, but
You
I'm going to talk.
heard?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a couple of defensive backs. Aydan White out of NC State and Jalen McMurray out of Temple. Your thoughts on those two guys?
Well, we talked McMurray a little while ago, but Aydan White, I love Aydan White. If Tennessee can get him, this is the move. We're talking about a 2-time All-ACC cornerback. Again, it's All-ACC, but we can at least agree that's better than the American. And so if you're 2-time All-ACC, you can at least you probably could be a decent starter in the SEC, even if you may not be great. And that's veteran leadership, that's experience. And here is and also he did not allow a touchdown in 2022 with 482 coverage snaps, which is an incredible stat. 25 pass breakups, 8 interceptions. And he went to Christ School in Arden, North Carolina, where the son of Heath Schuler, Navy Schuler, who was on Tennessee's roster, also went.
So, there you go. So there's a possibility. Do you think defensive backs look at Tennessee as a place they want to go, or no?
No, that's it. Even if you're good, it's this the defense is set up where you're not going to look good. Put it that way. Although, look, if you're a shutdown corner who can like shut down a side of the field, look at Alante Taylor. He got turned into a top 2-round draft pick in Heupel's system. So, he
did. Click the like and subscribe button if you're new to the show. We got more prospect talk. Here we go. 4th down, Coop.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Have you heard the news? I say the biggest, highest rated one for the end. Tell me about Mr. Hurd, and I actually have some insight into him that I would like. Rocky Top Tom says defensive backs just seem to be allergic to Knoxville. I have a little bit of insight into Hurd that I can provide. So go ahead and tell everyone that hasn't heard, that aren't big recruit nicks, how big of a pickup Hurd could be.
He would be a huge pickup. Now, Hurd wants to play left tackle specifically from the reporting I've heard. And he played a lot at right tackle last year for LSU. That's one of the reasons he entered the portal. But if you're Tennessee, you got John Campbell Jr. I don't think it'd be much of an imposition to move John Campbell Jr. over to right tackle to make Hurd happy at that point.
You stole my lead. I think John Campbell Jr. is willing to move to right tackle because it's worked for Tennessee's last 2 right tackles, including Darnell Wright. Used to be that was a major demotion, wasn't it? If they moved you from left tackle to right tackle. In Josh Heupel's offense, it's almost a promotion. I mean, they took Darnell Wright and did that. So I think that's kind of the key. I think Tennessee can offer that. Other schools are probably a little bit more locked into left tackle, or it's a gamble to take a transfer or go back a few years, a junior college player to fill in a left tackle vacancy. Albert Taween is a great example. He showed up. They plugged him at left tackle. Everybody remember him, former Vol? Showed up at left tackle, and they plugged him in there, and he started the entire season, and he was at best a C+ player. Would you agree with that? Thought he had heavy
I totally
feet.
agree.
Didn't think he was very good, but they didn't have another direction to go because they had invested so much in him. And I'm talking about off-season investment, who you play at left tackle. So I think you go to Hurd and you say, listen, this cat's willing to move. We're talking about John Campbell Jr. to right tackle for you. Now, I don't know that Hurd's going to do all of his research and know that Darnell Wright did that too. But if he doesn't, you're like, wow, man, they're really opening up quite the opportunity for me. And I think that's where you might be able to land him.
No, you are right. And here's the funny thing you say that. Left tackle might be an easier job. This is going to be the craziest thing I'm going to say today, Dave. But with the way college football's going, left tackle could end up being an easier job than right tackle. And here's why. Actually, Nick Saban figured this out. Jeremy Pruitt did this at Tennessee. One of Nick Saban's new philosophies, and this is how you saw Will Anderson line up on the other side, was it's better to have your edge rusher attacking the quarterback from his face than behind him, because then you can take away the vision on the quick slants over the field. And
Interesting. I hadn't heard that. I like the football one-on-one. Keep going.
Do you notice Will Anderson always lined up on that side? He was Alabama's best edge rusher by far, but they always line him up attacking the quarterback from the front rather than behind.
Yeah, he was always on the left side.
Yeah, he was. And so the philosophy on that was you can't, because what Nick Saban and a lot of coaches have realized is with the new rules in football, the slants are almost always going to be there now. It's just too hard to take away the slant and the deep ball. Even with Saban's, as you're the one who taught me about, and I looked up the pattern matching defense that he coaches, that actually kind of comes from the old cover 2 systems that he learned. You can't really take away the middle of the field and the deep shots anymore. So the philosophy is more, if you disrupt the quarterback's vision, even if the slants are there, let them be there, but they can't see them. And that's why you have your edge rushers rush from that side now. So in the future, what would you rather your tackle do? Is it more important to protect your quarterback's blind side or to protect your quarterback from the best, most dangerous edge rusher on the field? I mean, that's going to be kind of what you're weighing at that point.
I think the blindside thing kind of came into effect because Joe Theismann got his leg snapped in half. I mean, if you go back and look at the Blindside movie, and then there's a lot of truth to that, even though there's a lot of non-truths to the movie. But that's kind of how that was discovered. But because you don't want the devastating injury that the quarterback never sees coming. But I also don't want my quarterback constantly distracted by a person coming into his face on the right side. So I'd still put my best tackle on the left side personally, but I understand that Josh Heupel has not, and I understand that football evolves. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it continue to go that way.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. That was a time, let's not forget, Lawrence Taylor was coming from the blind side. And it's not, I mean, that's whatever you think of him as a person, he's still probably the most impactful defensive player of all time. Is that safe to say?
I think he's the best defensive player to ever step foot on a football field, actually, if you want my opinion. And the cool thing about Lawrence Taylor is he was allowed, that's who that it would be interesting to see that if they did that with James Pierce, allow him to line up everywhere, because the Giants played 10-on-1 or 10-on-11, excuse me, and let Taylor be the one. So it was 10-on-11. They played defense, and that was their disciplines and gaps and he got to line up wherever he wanted to. I'm interested to see the next player. I don't like bringing up my NFL team, but the Cowboys may have him. But I'd like to see the next player that's able to do that and just pick where he wants to line up based off looking at the defense, and he's just that absolutely dominant. But I think the Cowboys have him.
That might be intriguing. Quick little more. You know, Dave and I are talking a lot of ball. We're talking some serious ball today, if you want to say that word. But the clouding a quarterback's vision. What's the greatest call John Chavis ever made as a defensive coordinator, Dave? You know what it is?
Moving Leonard Little back to defensive end?
No, it's a play call. The greatest play call he ever made. It's that game you say is the best coach game Fulmer ever led. It was the Miami game of 2003. It's 10-6. Miami's driving. They're on the 5-yard line. They're about to go in and score. Brock Berlin snaps it. Kellen Winslow's clear. The receiver's all clear. Kellen Winslow's wide open for a touchdown on a crossing route. But Chavis sent Mark Jones on a blitz, straight line, not from the blind side, just straight forward up the middle, completely clouded Berlin's vision. So he gets hit as he throws it. Those are too late, and that causes an interception that Jabril Wilson catches. And the philosophy from Chavis was he kind of, I think the whole Tennessee team knew that Brock Berlin was a terrible quarterback to begin with, but they made the bet that if you send the guy in his face, he's not going to see the guy over the middle. And that was the bet they made the whole game.
Interesting. Our poll question brought to you by Rick Terry Jewelry Design, and we want to be your jeweler. Looking for affordable game day jewelry? How about the Fire Opals, a Tennessee tradition? So that's on rickterryjewelry.com. rickterryjewelry.com. The poll question is on our YouTube page, and it's been a little bit all over the place. James Pierce took off with it, but now some other guys are closing the gap a bit. Tennessee's best NFL prospect is Bru McCoy, James Pierce, Nico, or Coop. We will discuss after this, but right now, James Pierce leading with 54% of the vote, followed by Nico just going into the sophomore year at 25%. Bru McCoy last at 8%. Cooper Mays at 12%. So we'll get into that poll question. Vote on our YouTube page right now. Really would like to see your input. Again, brought to you by Rick Terry Jewelry Design. Go to rickterryjewelry.com. That is rickterryjewelry.com. Tell you what I'm hearing from NFL scouts about those guys. And let's just say that if Brew comes back healthy, they really, really like him. But Nico is as intriguing as they get.